Hello everyone. So, I'm continuing my physical games collection. These videos are doing pretty popular, which is funny because, they're doing more popular than the videos I spend more time on, like my Let's Play stuff. So this is my second shelf, but as you notice, there's two shelves up here, so I want to show you. That's the Persona Q2 Special Edition. That's Baby Beanie. Just might as well because they're right next to each other. And then these are 3 album covers that were done for a school assignment. So that's mine, Novin's Mix. And then I got a friend's and another friend's. Great cover art, by the way. Aiden, if you're watching it, the Aiden collection has one of the best cover arts ever. I remember asking him, like, where'd you get that picture of Kanye West? And he's like, yeah, I tried to find the most unappealing photo possible, and it's just him on a phone looking, like, kind of confused or something. But yeah, if you want to know what songs I chose for this, I have a playlist just called Novin's Mix, and it's all the songs in order of how they appear on the album. So, anyway, let us start off. This is my GameCube game. This is my Nintendo shelf. It's GameCube, Wii, and Wii U. With Batman Dark Tomorrow. So I found this for $1. And I was like, oh, cool, a GameCube game. I rarely ever find GameCube games. And then I was like, oh, cool, it's a Batman game. And it's like, oh, cool, it has the manual. Maybe it might be good. So I pop it in, I test it out, and it works. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I talked to Ram about it, and Ram's like, yeah, that game is absolute garbage. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. So I haven't been able to try it out yet, but, yeah, I've not heard good things about this, which stinks because, the place that I buy these games at, their GameCube games are very hit and miss. Just to put it in perspective, my copy of SpiderMan 2 on GameCube didn't work. My copy of X-Men on GameCube that I bought didn't work. Fantastic Four didn't work. Smash Melee didn't work. You know, a good handful of them do, but, there's more that don't than more that do than do. So for this to be the game that worked, it's like, come on, please. Come on, Smash Melee. I'll even take X-Men. But this is the one that works. Just how the cookie crumbles. Cars. This is just absolutely fantastic game. I've beaten this more times than you can count. Really nostalgic game. This is not my original copy. If you remember way back when I did a Cars Let's Play. Years and years and years ago. This is, actually, it was my second ever Let's Play I did. I started off with Phineas and Ferb Quest for Cool Stuff, and then I did Cars immediately afterwards. This is not my original GameCube version. That was a different copy, and then I bought an Xbox copy, and then I bought this copy. And I bought this right after I sold my Halo Edition Xbox, which was funny because, now I have an Xbox, but it's not a Halo Edition. That's a long story. I sold that. I had an awesome Halo Edition Xbox, perfect condition, everything, and I sold it for $50. Yeah, literally 5 minutes after selling it, I found out those things go for like $200. And I'm like, okay, great, I just ripped myself off. I bet that person was real happy when they were buying that from me. But I bought this version afterwards, which, it's a better version of the game. It's the GameCube version, the one I grew up with. And I really do love it. It's a very, very, very good game. It's got most of the original voice cast, which is really cool, and it's just a fun racing game. Chicken Little. Yeah, Chicken Little. It's alright. It's a good 3D platformer. With some really annoying mini games. That's the big issue. The 3D platforming's okay. The levels where you're in the alien machine is okay, but the levels where you're flying the alien ship are really annoying, and the driving missions are so terrible. I actually gave up on one of these driving missions has an extremely strict time limit. And because of the driving controls, you could hit a tiny bump and then just go the wrong direction. The driving controls are like so terrible in this. Which is weird because it's made by BVG, which made the Cars game. Which the Cars game, I mean, yeah, the physics in Cars was not that great. But, I mean, it was still passable. So for them to be so much worse here, I mean, I don't know. But overall, you know, there's still more fun levels than ones I dislike. So that goes, you know, that says something. It's also based off a movie I really like. And that, you know, that goes a long way in this type of licensed game. Covenant Next Door Operation video game for $35. Yeah. Apparently this game is just hard to... I spent years looking for a copy of this game and finally found one on the GameCube, no less, but it was $35 and I'm like, why is this so rare and why is this so expensive? I don't know what it is about this game, but it's a good game. It's a good 3D, you know, third-person shooter, platformer type thing. The only things I don't like are the top-down shooters. The first one isn't too hard, it's just kind of boring. It goes on for like 15 minutes straight, which, yeah, a top-down shooter level should not go on for 15 minutes straight. And then for some reason, the difficulty goes up like 40,000 notches because the next top-down shooter stage is the final stage in the game, and it is like insanity. It's like Toho levels. There are just thousands of tiny bullets flying at you constantly, and you can barely avoid them. So I gave up there. Yeah, that was just excruciating, that level. I'm like, alright, I'm done. I'm not playing this anymore. But overall, it's a fun game. Was it worth $35? Again, the property. I really like Codename Next Door, so the property plays a big factor. Plus, this is nostalgic in a way. I didn't own it for that long, but I did own it for the original Xbox for a little bit, whenever it was really easy to find and pretty cheap. So yeah. Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex for $15. It's a good game. Yeah, people, it's kind of like a love it or hate it situation. But a lot of people hate this game. I think it's alright. I think it's pretty fun. The platforming's fun. The only levels I don't like are... Actually, well, the bosses aren't very good. There's only one boss I found fun, and that was the boss, the first boss in the game, where you have to, like, jump over... Not the first boss, the second boss. Where you have to jump over the, you know, the water stuff that he's throwing at you. But most of these bosses use, like, the new gimmicks, like the mechs or the rolling ball gimmick, and all of them aren't that great. The mech levels are fine. The rolling ball levels are fine, but when they're incorporated into the bosses, they're really annoying. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I think it's a pretty fun game. Oh, yeah, of course I do have to mention this, though. The graphics are hideous. Like, really bad. And I love it because on the back, where does it say? Yeah, positively eye-popping. The most dazzling special effects ever seen in a Crash game. It is funny, though, because thinking about it, special effects. Now, I've watched, because this is made by Traveler's Tales, and I've watched the head of Traveler's Tales, John Burton. He has a YouTube channel. He hasn't really done anything with it for a while, but he has a YouTube channel called Game Hut. And he keeps on talking about it. There's a lot of videos about all of his videos are about programming or behind the scenes stuff. And most of the time when he views a prototype, you know, he doesn't, like, for example, he previewed Sonic R. And the Sonic R prototype was one of the most basic things ever. It had no movement animation. It was just a still model of Sonic running in this very primitive looking place, and you'd be like, oh, well, that's an early version, you know, okay, there's nothing too special. But John was like, but this ring, whenever you collect a ring, there's like this incredible like animation flair, and we spent hours, like, so when it says eye-popping special effects, I feel like that's something that John would really stick to. So I feel like that might have been a Traveler's Tales edition to include that, because the character models aren't very good, but I will say some of the special effects are pretty good, you know, just little animations and such. Crash Tag Team Racing for $20. This is a fun game. I think it's, the racing's a little bit stilted. The controls are kind of stilted. And the platforming, yeah, it's a bit meh. Would I say it's worth $20? Not really. I'd probably pay 15, you know. I mean, that's not, okay. That's not that much less than, I'll probably, you know, $20 I guess is fine. But, yeah, I do really, you know, I do enjoy it still, but it's nowhere near Crash Team Racing and Nitro Kart. Which is funny, because I don't really care for the original Nitro Kart, but I'll still take it over Tag Team, so. Donald Duck Going Quackers for $18. This game is fan-freaking-tastic. Just a really nice, relaxing, easy platformer, easy Crash Bandicoot-esque platformer. And it's super, super fun, really nostalgic. This is just a great game. Really, really great game overall. And the length isn't too bad either. It's only like 2 to 3 hours, which... maybe 3 to 4, which is a perfect length for me, because that's, you know... you can beat it, you can have fun, you can move on to something else. It doesn't feel like it's going on for too long. Donkey Konga for $10. I do have the bongos. They're up on a shelf that's way too high to, you know, view. I'd have to get up and, like, move the camera a bunch, and I'm not going to do that. But, it's a, you know, a fun rhythm game. The track list is, it kind of ranges from, like, meh to good. Yeah, it's like, a lot of these tracks aren't the greatest, but at the same time, you've got the Legend of Zelda theme, the Kirby Right Back At Ya theme, and the Pokemon theme. That's 3 really good songs that I'd replay a lot, so it's kind of weird. It's got, like, a few really good songs, and then some, you know, and then a lot of, like, meh songs. On the other hand, Donkey Konga 2, I think, has a really good soundtrack. It's got the Holy Trinity. Let's see, Losing My Religion, Shiny Happy People, and All-Star. And those are the songs I replay a ton. It's also got some others in there that I enjoy too. It's a really good sequel. It improves a lot on what was good about the first game. You know, better track list and some extra modes that are pretty good too. Got that from a friend, by the way. Got that from a coworker, actually. She sold me the DK Bongos and Donkey Konga 2. Andrea. That's her name, I think. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Pretty sweet deal. She was a cool coworker. Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twinkies, or, sorry, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twinkies. I'm just going to call it Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twinkies. That's what the box says. For $8. I really like this game. Yeah, it's an interesting situation where my first playthrough was very mixed. There were things that I really hated, but things that I really liked. The boss fights were just freaking annoying. And then my second playthrough, it wasn't nearly as bad. The boss fights weren't nearly as annoying, and I enjoyed the gameplay a little bit more. So I think overall I do really enjoy this game. I like the explorative factor. I really like the invention mechanics, and I really like the gameplay. Yeah, it's a really, really good game. Definitely the go-to Jimmy Neutron game. Don't get Jet Fusion, get Attack of the Twinkies. Madagascar. Now this one's pretty nostalgic. This is not my original copy, but I definitely had this on the GameCube when I was younger, and I enjoyed it. It's definitely a weird game. Like, well... actually, yeah. Madagascar Won is a very weird game. It's got very strange character models. It obviously goes completely off the script of what the movie was. It definitely feels like this was made, like this was developed way before the movie actually came out and the full script came out. Because, you know, there's a bunch of different levels that have absolutely nothing to do with the plotline. There's a final boss where you verse, like, the Fusa Guardian or something, and it's like this big Fusa boss, and I'm like, they never fought the Fusa. I guess you need to have a final boss, but yeah, like, that along with a bunch of other stuff really feels like this was, you know, made during the film's production and they didn't know a whole lot about the film. Later games would not do this. Madagascar 2 and 3 pretty much follow the movies pretty well, but this one is a very odd case. There's some fun levels here, some fun minigames, but it's definitely a very, very, very weird game. If you want a weird Madagascar experience, go ahead and play Madagascar on the GameCube. It's very strange. Character models are really bad, too. Like, there is some really... Especially the lemurs. They look disgusting. Like, they're... But, you know, I guess a charming kind of disgusting. Mario Kart Double Dash. This is my original copy from... No, it's not. This is my... Well, yes, it is. Okay. The disc and the manual are my original copy. But my cousin... I mean, I don't know how he felt about this. I don't really know why he did it. But my cousin was like, look, I want the cover art. I will give you Kirby Air Ride for the cover art of Mario Kart Double Dash. I don't know why he was so adamant. But I was like, sure, why not? And then I sold Kirby Air Ride a year or so later. And now it's like $90. Good on me! Yeah, nice one. 10-year ago me. Best gaming decision in my life. But yeah, this game is absolutely fantastic. It's fantastic. It's my favorite Mario Kart game, probably in my top 10 games ever made. If you were to accumulate how many hours I spent on this, both as as a kid, up to now, who knows, 400, 500 hours, 600 maybe. I absolutely love this game. Spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on it, and I could never get past 100cc. I finished 100cc fully, but 150 still is just insanely challenging for me. But I got Toad and Toadette. That's all that matters. I got Toad and Toadette. Also, I got the Waluigi bike. That's a big one. Mario Party 4 for $45. Used to be $60. Great prices on this one. This is not my original copy. Yet again, my cousin just gave me his copy of Mario Party 4. He was an awesome He is an awesome cousin. Still is. Cousin Elliot. And I feel terrible because I sold my original copy of Mario Party 4, even though it was a gift. Oh, jeez. Again, it was 10 years ago. I mean, I was a moron then, and, well, since I sold 14 consoles to get a PS5, I guess I'm still a moron. Yeah. But this is my new copy that I got, there should be a date right here, 7/31/21, so I got it probably a month afterwards, so August of last year. And absolutely fantastic. Just a really, really incredible Mario Party game. One of my favorites. Not my favorite, though, but one of my favorites. Spent a lot of hours in that. No, my favorite is Mario Party 7, which is funny because people don't really see this game as that great. It's kind of like washed aside. 6 is seen as the best, and then 8 is remembered because it's the Wii one with, with the motion controls, lots of them, Mario doing the hand motions and all that. Yeah, I know, I did it. Mario does it, so it's okay. But, this one kind of gets thrown to the wayside, but I really, really love this game. The boards are fantastic. Lots of great really good character roster. You got Toadette and Toad, so, I mean, that's pretty good. Dry Bones is in this as well. Just a really, really great character roster. Lots of great boards, and they're all super varied. This is just an absolutely fantastic game. Yeah, just absolutely fantastic. And I remember I bought this for, no joke, $15. I don't know what was going through GameStop's head, but for some reason online they had it for $15, so I bought it for $15. And then randomly, like a week later, it jumped up to like $45 or $50. So I think that was a glitch, but it went into my favor. I wouldn't have a copy of it now if it weren't for that $15 glitch. Metal Arms, glitch in the system. No, this is a box of Rayman Origins. I've spent 25 on this. This was another game bought after I sold my original Xbox. I had the original Xbox version, and then I bought the GameCube version. This is one of those scenarios, the very few scenarios where I wish I should have just kept the Xbox version. I should have just kept the Xbox, period. But I should have bought an Xbox version once I, got my new Xbox. This game loves to run at, like, half speed. Anytime there's more than, like, 2 enemies on screen, the game just chugs. Not only that, but platforming's a lot more stiff because, well, of course, the game chugs. And, yeah, it's probably, I mean, well, I don't know how the PS2 version runs, but so far, this is the worst copy of the game. And the only other, and the only issue, and the big issue, this is a huge issue, the game isn't that fun. And it's one of those things where maybe I'll have a different experience if I pop it in next time, maybe I won't, I don't know. But here's the deal of what happened. So when I had this on the Xbox, I only got about an hour in. And an hour in's pretty good. It was a pretty enjoyable time. About 2 hours in, the game goes from pretty fair to insanely challenging and annoying. And it's just like a flip of the switch, and everything after that 2 hour mark is just insanely challenging, insanely confusing, insanely annoying, and I wanted to rip my hair out. And eventually I just gave up. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not playing this crap anymore, because it was just infuriating. Maybe I'll have a different, maybe once I try it again, I might have a different outlook on it, but this one's probably going to get sold. This one was, yeah. And I'm probably never going to look back on Metal Arms, because that experience has totally just soured my entire opinion on the game. Which was once really good. When I only played an hour of it, my opinion was pretty highly of it. Need for Speed Most Wanted for $20. It's a great, you know what? I know people really, what was it? Need for Speed Underground, I think? But Most Wanted's my favorite. I always have a soft spot for this game. This game is absolutely incredible. Probably the best open world in my opinion, the best destructible environments, best cars, best storyline. This is incredible. Is the GameCube version the best? Definitely not. Just like Metal Arms, it doesn't chug as much, but it still chugs. There's still a good amount of times where the game will kind of dip, but it'll come back up fairly quickly. But of course, it looks a lot worse. I used to have this on the 360, and going from that to down to this, true, I like the GameCube more. I like their little discs. I like the console. I like the controller, but yeah, the 360 version is a lot better in terms of a game. But still absolutely fantastic. Still great on the GameCube. Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island, an absolute classic if you know Jabmaster lore. I've done a playthrough, I've done a Let's Play of this on my original channel, on my, Jabmaster channel, and sneak preview, there is another Let's Play of this game, using my current recording capture software. I don't know when it'll come out. It's going in order. Right now we're doing Ben 10, and then after that's another game. After that's another game. This is pretty far along. This possibly might not be seen until the very end of 2023 or early 2024. Yeah, I've got a lot of packed on videos. But just really, really fantastic game. It's one of those things, though, and I mentioned this during the Let's Play, and you won't hear the Let's Play until, like, yeah. But I mentioned this during the Let's Play, is that I absolutely love this game. I've beaten it a ton, and when I went to go replay it, it was kind of like going through the motions. And I feel like I probably should wait a very long time before I get back to playing this again, because I get kind of burned out nowadays. I've finished it so many times. But it's still a very fantastic game. That's more of just a me thing of playing it too much over the course of like 5 years. Shadow the Hedgehog. This is an interesting case. So you see this, how this is cut out. You see how, this is cut out. This is a PS2 box. I originally had this on the PS2. And then I found the GameCube version in the good old vintage stock $1 bin. And it didn't work. It didn't work. And it ticked me off so much, I went back and I said, clean this. And it worked a second time. So, yay. And this is a really great... Hold on. Okay. If you play it like I do, and you just go the main story route, just the basic story route, which is like 7 levels and like 2 boss fights, the game is fun. If you try to go for all ending, the game is terrible. But if you play it like I do and you just go for one ending, this game's really fun, and there's a lot that I like about it. But like I said, go for one ending. Don't go for all of them. Going for all of them, you'll hate this game. And I tried doing that once, and yeah, I started to hate this game. But, you know, I think if you play it like I do, it's a good game. Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. Before I get into the fun about this game, something kind of funny, and I gave this copy to a friend, but I bought this from GameStop.com, I think for $10, which is a great price. And I went to look through the manual, and out popped a copy of Sonic Riders. They just, I guess, accidentally left it in here. They don't even sell Sonic Riders on their website, so I think just the person that brought it in accidentally left a copy of Sonic Riders in there. But I already have a copy of Sonic Riders, so I gave the second one to a friend. Absolutely fantastic. Sonic Adventure has consistently been in my top 5 favorite games. I absolutely adore this game. I like Big the Cat. You heard it here, folks. I like his gameplay. Amy is the only one that I get kind of tired of, but over the years I've gotten a little bit, you know, lighter on it. Just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Sonic Heroes! Yeah, this game's fun. To an extent. If you just play Team Sonic Story, maybe Team Roses, the game's not too bad, but if you try to play Team Chaotix and Team Dark, yeah, just like Shadow the Hedgehog, you start to kind of hate this game. I've beaten this game once, and beating this game was a great experience, because I really liked the final boss, and I really liked the credits music, and finally beating it, it was like, just really rewarding. But yeah, Team Dark has terrible levels that go on way too long and are really difficult, and Team Chaotix have terrible levels that you have no idea what you're doing. But if you just want to play Team Rose and Team Sonic, I think this game does have a ton of fun going for it, and I've spent a lot of hours in it, so overall, I think it's a really great game. And of course, like I said, if you want to go for all 4 stories, the final boss is really rewarding. It's a really awesome final boss. Sonic Riders, yeah, first off, I paid $20 for this, I remember that. This was one of the first games I got with my GameCube. My original GameCube, bear in mind. No, this... Yes. No. Yes. No? When did I buy this? I don't remember. I know it was $20, but I don't know when or when I bought it. Anyway, I have a lot of issues with this game, and it all is due to the controls and difficulty. The story mode is just really challenging with some really annoying level design, track design, and the controls, like I said, they get a lot of getting used to. If you're gonna buy a Sonic Riders game, get Zero Gravity. That one fixes most of the issues I have with this, but I think there's enough fun here where if you already have Zero Gravity and you love Zero Gravity, maybe try out this one. But, you know, bear in mind that it's difficult, very difficult, and the controls take a ton of getting used to. Spider-Man 2 for $17. This is actually the second copy. When I mentioned that Spider-Man 2 didn't work, they had 2 copies in stock, and I bought one. It didn't work, and I bought this, and it did work. Which is funny, because you notice that this box is really torn up. And that's why I didn't buy it. I bought one that had a better looking box, and that version didn't work, but this version does, so it's just kind of funny. Plus, this one includes the manual. The other one didn't, so I think overall this is actually the better package. But this game's fantastic. I used to have this on the PS2. I played it a ton. Now I have it on the GameCube, and it's still amazing. except it's not called The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's a different and worse game. A lot worse. But this game's absolutely fantastic. Just, you know, I wouldn't say it's one of the best licensed games. I know a lot of people, you know, throw that around. I don't think it's the best Spider-Man game. I still say Amazing Spider-Man is fantastic. There's a lot to love about that game. But Spider-Man 2, still really good, especially that includes the voice actors. That's a huge factor. I really wish I had the Amazing Spider-Man still. Apparently it's kind of like steadily increasing in value, so maybe people are realizing that the game's really good. Don't get the Wii version, though. Get the Xbox 360 or PS4 version. Those are the only two versions that include the hub world, and the hub world is truly fantastic to you know, swing through. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Again, notice this. This was a PS2 box. I didn't own this game on the PS2. This was another one of Bryce's boxes that he gave me. But I owned a loose copy of the GameCube version, and I said, okay, I'll you know, cut out the edges so that I have a GameCube box. And absolutely fantastic, yeah. It's debatable whether I like this or the remake more, but I think I like this just a bit more just because of pure nostalgia. I've played a ton of this game. No, it was not $8. I paid $8 for Monsters, Inc. Scream Arena, which is a game I don't own anymore because that game sucked. But this game is really, really great. SpongeBob Creature from the Krusty Krab for $20. It's interesting. It's a combination of, like, yeah, playing 8 bizarre and unusual worlds. So you've got the SpongeBob stages, which are mostly basic platformers, action platformers. Patrick is very action-based. You have these 2D side-scroll levels, which are pretty fun, if, you know, pretty basic. You have these levels where you play as Plankton, and you're, like, stomping around buildings, kind of like Rampage. And then you have these, you know, flying levels, which, you know, aren't too great. And you have driving levels. It's a very mixed bag. And I think that goes for the gameplay, like, quality as well. There's some things I like about it. There's a lot of things a lot of things I like about it. Some things I don't like about it. It's a very mixed bag. It's not one of those things where if you like Battle for Bikini Bottom, you'll like this. It's like, this is definitely a different entity than Battle for Bikini Bottom. I still think it's good, but like I said, you know, there's some things I don't like about it. The flight missions suck. I hate the flight missions. They're super basic, and they're just like, fly left, fly right, fly up, fly down, and there's like really nothing, like not a lot of variation to that. And the Patrick levels go on for way too long. Seriously, like there's like 8 of them in a row, and all of them are the same basic punch a bunch of guys, move on to the next area, punch a bunch of guys, and normally I'm okay with that, but it's just not fun. It's not fun beat 'em up. It's very like, you know, just, yeah. Also, there's like tons of tutorial segments in the Patrick. Only the Patrick segments have tons of tutorial segments where they force you to stop and have a voice talk to you, and it's just, yeah. Anyway, I have a couple loose games that go into that little slot because, you know, that slot is not big enough to put in another game box, but big enough to put in this little game case. Sonic Gems Collection, absolutely fantastic. Still to this day, my only way of playing Sonic R, unless I were to, well, I mean, I've never gotten a Sega Saturn emulator to work, ever. So I'd have to illegally download a copy of the PC release. So basically, Sonic R, this is Sonic R, the game. Sonic the Fighters I have digitally, and it's a better version. Sonic CD, I have on Steam, and it's, you know, the Christian Whitehead version, so it's better. But this is still, like, basically, this is my Sonic R gaming experience, and this is amazing for that. Sonic R is an amazing game. And I remember I paid $20 for this, also on GameStop.com, and then it got delisted from the website, which was, yeah, GameStop.com's weird. Especially nowadays. And then SpiderMan, which, it's alright. It's an alright, you know, licensed game. I wouldn't say it's nearly as good as Spider-Man 2, and I wouldn't say it's nearly as good as a lot of other Spider-Man games. It's definitely like they were trying to figure stuff out with this game. It's fun. There's a few good levels, but difficulty is pretty annoying, and, like I said, a lot of stuff that they had to figure out. The flying, you know, the web slinging in particular is, like, very strange, the way they went about it. But anyway, that's shelf 1, or that's floor 1 finished. And I think I'm going to stop it here. I think 34 minutes is good, and then, we'll do the next shelf. So yeah, see you guys next time.